barn, my dad's.
Just shut the
arena,
door and then they're pets.
They're deer tracks, they go in, they eat the hay.
In the barn.
And one time I had a bag of grain that wouldn't fit in the grain bin, so I left it sitting on the floor. They chewed a hole in the grain bag and dragged that around on the floor in there. Yeah, they walk in and out that, cause the building's open, the shed's on the side, the front doors, I mean, they're big wide doors. And they walk in, I see deer tracks in the dirt in the other side of the barn all the time.
That's why I feed my chickens near the house, because they'll come in.
I pull up to feed.
You're feeding them, I'm just feeding my animals.
I pull up to feed my horses and my cow, and they'll be just outside the barn. They won't even be 50 feet away from me. They might look at me, and then they just go back to eating. And they don't give a shit.
Wow.
They don't care.
I had a fox walk right into my barn in the morning, bright daylight, walked the fox, walked right in the barn, killed almost all our chickens.
Really?
We went from about 150 to 12.
After the first, she said.
Yeah, anything you want to
Yeah.
raise, I
No,
think.
I mean, Casella is going
That's
through,
not-
you said something about them.
Oh, yeah, I have the new rate
I don't know if
sheet.
he got
Yeah,
it.
it's gonna be expensive.
We've got chickens
Yeah.
in about
I'll
4
get you
or
a
5
copy.
years
I'll
ago.
go ahead
We're gonna
and-
have
In broad daylight, we had a pack of
Okay.
coyotes.
Mhm.
They were out running around the outside of the
Yeah.
What
chicken
do they
coop,
call that
and they
sheet?
got
It's called
5
something.
of them, I think. And we haven't lost any.
Well,
since
anyway, I know what it is.
Yeah, we don't have a good chicken coop, that's why we're losing. We're gonna build a new one.
See, I built this one for my daughter, and it's like a chicken
Yeah,
fortress.
we got to do
And
that.
they can't get into it. I built it with small wire openings, and I buried this wire in the ground.
Well, we have to have
That's
some
something
idea what
that
we want.
I buttoned everything up.
Yeah, Dave will do that, but they're always roosting in the barn, that's why.
Yeah.
And if they don't roost way up on the rafters,
Who's actually the contact
Yeah.
person? A lot of them don't even live around here.
Yeah, I
You
know.
know, they're from.
And I was
That's
talking to Sue
on.
Baker about it.
That's on.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep, well, then we should just start. We'll call a
You
meeting.
sure? Cause it's red.
What?
that's me.
Oh, so, yeah, okay. Shows how much I've been paying attention.
It's this one that's red and it's off. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
Oh, okay.
They moved it when they had it.
So I thought, we're like, what are we pledging allegiance to?
You got it, Cindy.
Okay.
You got it, okay.
You see it now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Neal? Here. Councilman Bill is absent. Supervisor Runyon?
Here.
Councilman Brown? Here. Councilman Galusha?
Here.
Okay. I have down on the meeting packet, the guests, Aaron and Stacy Eddy, they were here already. What they needed was just for me to sign a survey. There's a property line on their existing property that they want to move. They're just moving their own line, so I really didn't think that we needed to do anything other than me sign. It's reverting it back to how it used to be, but it doesn't affect any neighbors or
It's
anything.
just a boundary line adjustment.
Yeah, boundary line adjustment, so,
They needed it for the Adirondack Park Agency,
no, they didn't need that.
just for themselves, okay.
It's only them, that, you know,
It's right in the center of the lot, anyway.
yeah, it's in the middle. And I think Robin and, I don't know if Lisa will be here or Tina, they're coming for the TSA for occupancy tax, but they're not here yet. So we could just skip over that and go to the next thing. In your packet, I have all this occupancy tax, where we're at right now, how much we have left.
Yeah.
And then the next sheet here is the revenue that came in. And then all the expenses we paid in 2022, and then their grant application, and last year's final report that they gave. So. Then I went through the financials, so if you want to pull that out to follow along, it's this packet here, it's down toward the back. But you have it in here too, I wrote them down, so any account codes that had negatives, which really, not that bad. Yeah, that's what we'll be reading from.
Mhm.
So, about halfway through this packet here is where the expenses start. It looks like this, the detail of expenditures.
Mhm.
Do you find it? Are you in the financials? Yeah, you got it.
Am I in the right one here?
Yeah, it's just really, let's keep going.
That's the bank.
Just pass the bank,
Okay.
pass that. Want me to find it for you? 'Cause I don't find it.
You're okay, which one is it on?
You're on, but they're not numbered like that way, they're numbered,
No.
it would be number 1 of the expenditure page. You're almost there. On the page. That's it,
Alrighty.
okay? So, I went through, identified the negatives, and then I made a spreadsheet here to show what needed to be increased. There's a few in here that were either code changes, they were in the wrong code, or, like for instance, this the very first one, the supervisor, secretary, we dealt with that already, I just didn't move the fund balance over, so that one's fine.
Looking at your table, I do just have a question. I think under general fund, you've got a column for increase and then another column for increase. Shouldn't one of those be decreased?
No, down here it says decrease and increase,
Okay.
but up here, if you need to increase an expenditure that's in the negative, and you're gonna do it by increasing revenue that you've earned more than you expected,
Okay.
you can raise the budget of the revenue that has the extra money. So I really only had one expense that I had to actually decrease a code. All this other over here is all revenue that we had over and above what we budgeted for.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's why it's like that. And that's actually not a bad thing. You know, we don't have to be moving around the expense codes. We only had the one. The state retirement was because we paid both years of state retirement in 1 year. It didn't get paid in December. That's why that's in the negative at all. It's because of that. We made 2 payments in 1 year.
Okay.
The other ones, tax collector, and I'm only dealing with the right-hand side because these are all revenue with extra money in them. So the tax collector, she's over 186.37. That's because we bought stamps before the price went up for this year coming up. We spent $900 on stamps.
Okay.
Assessor's contractual, his is up a little bit because we bought a lot of one-time expenditures. An air conditioner was one of them, so that brought it up a little bit. The engineer, we had the plans for the highway, they talked about the master plan, and they were at the C&D a couple times, that's why they're in the negative. Unallocated insurance, that's in the negative because we added on those new vehicles, and it raised up our inland marine and our regular insurance. Refuse and garbage, well, that one we already, I think, dealt with fund balance, I just haven't moved it over yet. And then the refuge and garbage contractual, that is mostly the increase in the hauling. So like you said, Ed, we're probably gonna have to address that at the organizational meeting. We're gonna have to charge a little more.
The
Because-
hauling fees are going up.
I know, they are.
The volume price is going up. Everything's
The
going up.
hauling's going up, yeah. Okay. And then in the highway, they really only had 2 codes in the negative. One was state retirement for the same reason, we paid 2 times in 1 year. And then the bridges contractual, I believe, I talked to Pat about that, and I didn't put a number over here because I think we reallocated some of the expenses that were in the bridges to a different code where they belonged. So that shouldn't really be on here. The other codes that were in the negative that are below here is CHIPS, which we'll be getting the reimbursement. So that one, we don't need to do anything with. The machinery and equipment, I reallocated that expense, so that's not in the negative anymore. I moved some of it over to the, equipment and capital outlay, and that is not in the negative because the one truck that we paid cash for, the $209,000, that's in this budget, causing a negative, but really was supposed to be paid with fund balance from the year before. So fund balance will go to that, and it's, for 2022, that's not in the negative. And I wrote that here, should have been fund balance 2021, but, you know, when it came in, I had to write the check and I had to go to that code. And that's really all we have. It's really, we're ending the year pretty good. So I just need to introduce a resolution allowing me to make the budget adjustments. And if you want to look through it and ask me any questions or have any other. Oh, and one other thing I did want to tell you, if you've noticed here, the tax collector is in the negative. Not really, because she is salaried, and what happened was during a payroll, when she wasn't here, it picked up the salaries, and it made it go in the negative. She wasn't paid that money, and it's been corrected, but right here it shows us negative, but it's really not. She zeroed out when she left, and I just had to do a budget adjustment. Voiding out that check in payroll did not carry over to the accounting. I had to do a journal entry. So that's fixed too. So you want to take a few minutes and look it over and ask me any questions that you might have? Okay, do you have any discussion? Okay. Well then, someone want to introduce the resolution then? Ed? Yeah.
I'll second it.
Randy? Okay. Resolution to approve budget adjustments. Whereas the town of Thurman is required to prevent negative balances in the appropriations account codes, whereas negative balances exist that need to be remedied, be it resolved, the town board approves the budget adjustments from the attached spreadsheet. Roll call. vote.
Okay,
Well, I could say all in favor. All in favor?
Count- count-
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
That's easier. All right. And then, it's really, as far as resolutions go, other than for the occupancy tax, we could just move on to discussion items. In your packet, there's something that looks like that. It's my notes from the meeting that you want, Randy.
Oh, thank you.
It was very informative, the meeting, and I'll just touch on some of the highlights. A lot of this involves grants that I want to go after. NYSERDA is one. The clean energy program, I wanna get on that, I think Climate Smart. You sign up, and the more things that you do, you earn points, which leads you to grants. These are the different grants. They got 5,000 for designation, action grant, point-based grants. Now, these were just notes from the meeting. I don't have a lot of information. I have to reach out to them, but I do have something in your packet that looks like this about the Climate Smart grant. And I'd really like to apply for new windows for the building. That's what because it's pretty cold down here. We're losing a lot of heat through these windows. And I think that would be a good thing to do. There's no local shares for that grant, so it won't cost us anything.
Does NYSERDA offer any grants or anything that would apply to our new garage?
I don't know,
If
because
we do things to make it energy efficient?
rooftop solar is one of the things they could do. I'd have to reach out to them. I pretty much just have notes from the meeting. I didn't talk to anybody there, but I do have all their name and email.
Yeah, I think if.
And see, here's where I wrote highway garage. They have a flood mitigation. They do a snapshot of energy use, no cost to the town. So maybe they could do something with that. And it just lists the different things they do, like the Regional Clean Energy Hub for residents. That's for people to reach out to get help with their heating bills, utility assistance, finding a contractor, stuff like that. So you, to register, we have to pass a resolution to be part of the program. And I can get a copy of an example of a resolution from them, and we can do that at the next meeting, and I can get started earning the points by doing different things.
Great.
The other speaker was Mark Shackner, who's our town attorney. He talked about something he called paralytic abuse of open government principles. And what he's letting us know is, for instance, if three of us are meeting somewhere, like not meeting, but we're together somewhere, like if we're out in the front yard, or we're at the landfill, or the grocery store, or anywhere, and there's three of us, there's no, that, we're not violating open meeting law doing that. As long as we're not talking about business, it does not apply to social gatherings. And does the public have a right to attend to our open meetings? Yes, but do they have the right to be heard or ask questions? Not really. We can't prevent that. And this is really geared toward, you know, negative interactions with people, not really like what we deal with here.
Randy, we can go to the dump now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Same, he also discussed the freedom of information law for FOILs. There are people that use FOILs as a way of keeping you so busy you can't do your job, and that isn't allowed. You have to answer them to let them know you received it and that it's being reviewed, and you'll have a reasonable amount of time to reply. And the other thing he talked about was First Amendment audits, people who come up to your face with a recorder, their phone, whatever. There's nothing you can do to stop that. He said just stay calm, avoid confrontation, be respectful, don't let them get to you. We don't really have that problem, but just in case. And he also discussed people coming into the offices. They can come in and video or record in a public accessible place, like this town hall right here. But they cannot come into your office and do it. Or you can put a sign up that says it's your private office, no videotaping inside or whatever, but it really didn't apply to us. We don't really have this problem. But it was interesting. This is a very interesting one here, the broadband cellular program. It's Connect All. And there's something I put in your box. Okay. They have 1.4 billion available to work on broadband now. And they're saying that I should join the EDC for more assistance, so I'm going to reach out to Jim Siplon and join that. There's approximately 3,000 unserved addresses in the rural Adirondacks. 92% of Warren County is addressed, so it's 8% of the county. They say that rural broadband is more expensive and more difficult and the hardest to connect and maintain. So there is federal funding for broadband, and in order to get it, the maps must be as accurate as possible. They're saying the mapping is critical. Each successfully challenged address is worth $5,000 per address in federal funding. And they have to be identified by January 13th.
Oh, wow, that's not much time.
It's not much time. But what I did get today, before the meeting, and I have one in your packet, is this thing here. Are you on the federal broadband map? That's it, Doug, right there. They have a flyer here, which I want to have put on the website, Thurman Happenings, the front door. I'm going to scan it and email it like to Richard Klein because he's interested and he can get it to his neighbors. All a person has to do is click on this link and the map comes up and you put in your home address. Because I was thinking we'd have to canvass, you know, go out and find out who these people are. All they need to know is to do that. And they say from your home phone or local library because they're assuming you don't have internet if you're getting this.
Right.
Or maybe we can even open up the building for people to come down here and do it if they can't get it anywhere else. But the deadline's January 13th. And the more people we can get on there, the better. So if you know anybody, or, you know, at the landfill you see a lot of people, just get the word out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's worth $5,000, and if we're gonna apply for this money,
People mostly on the northern end.
and one of the things they did talk about is it's a lot of regulations that's keeping this cost up. Like, I didn't know what an attenuator is, that they were mandated to have them anytime they were working. But those are those big trucks, you know, like it says if you're gonna hit it, it's got like hinges, and if you hit the back of their truck, it breaks your, you know, you're not affecting their actual truck, it slows you down. Have you ever seen them on the highway?
Yeah, DOT, yeah.
Well, they're mandated, and they're expensive, so that drives up the cost, because anytime they're gonna work on the lines, they need to have that. And they're trying to say, you know, write your legislator and have that removed, if we
That
can.
DOT mandates, I think that has to do with any time they have to either cross or go along a DOT highway. They charge these guys big bucks for all of that.
Yep.
And that's something they were trying to get repealed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's just, it's counterproductive. It's preventing people from getting broadband.
And that's what they wrote right above it, removal of the fiber fee and the legislature
Yep.
removed. Yeah, beneficial to continue serving, yeah. Another thing, Carrie Tuttle, she spoke about open access, so all carriers can get on the same circuits. They sell the circuits to any carrier, so it wouldn't be just Slick or just Frontier, or anybody would be able to use it. And there are grants to reduce the cost for the private carriers and public-private partnerships. So, and the mapping is for cell and broadband, because they realize rural communities, a lot of places, you don't even have your cell phones, because you could have internet if you had cell.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's what I use. So, it's just important that we get the word out to anybody that can pass this along to get on the map.
Great.
I'll make some copies of that.
If you want, we can run some off here.
Yeah, I think I got it.
The housing options and partnerships, that's housing affordability issue. It doesn't really apply to us. I mean, we don't do any like developing or anything. But what they do is they buy the land and they put up a house that's owned by the homeowner. It has a 99-year renewable ground lease. And when if the person in there wants to sell it, they can only sell the house, not the land, and they can't really, I think it said they can't make money on it. They're limited to what they can earn on it. They can only earn up to what they paid plus any repairs they did. It's pretty good, it's a pretty good program, but it's in Essex County, and I don't think here it really would apply to us. Then that was the meeting. It was pretty good. Broadband was the main reason I went, and I learned a
Sorry,
lot.
I missed it.
And then to just get this in the email today was like, that's good. The other grant I have here is a bridge and culvert program from the Department of Transportation, and it's due by January 27th. It's for all culvert candidate projects in Warren County. I was gonna try again for the Dippico road repair. I don't know if I need a resolution to apply for the grant. I'm not sure if I
We
do.
probably should,
Yeah,
yeah.
not sure if it even requires any kind of share on our part, but it would be good to know. It said they increased the funding to 200 million per year, so maybe now that more funding's available, we'll have better luck.
Is there a local share, or do we?
I don't know, this is as far as I've got this email, and I just have to, when I go to apply due to letter of interest, I'm sure I'll get information then. If you want, I can reach out to them. It's not due till January 27th, so if I reach out and get more facts, and then at our next meeting, I'll present them.
That would be good, yeah.
Okay. I see a lot of grants coming in the future, yeah. Because the Climate Smart grant, that doesn't have a match. I'll reach out to them, I'll reach out to all these people, so I have more information when we meet again. We have a New York class in there, so we earned $2,023 in interest this month alone. And I did separate, if you look at the very last page, I took 100,000 of what was in the general fund, separated it out to a C&D closure account. So that has the money that it needs for 2022 and 2023 without having to be in our budget.
Deb, first of all, I applaud you for the New York class, and I think it's great, and we're earning interest and everything. I think creating and moving money like this, I think probably should be done by board resolution.
Sure.
I just think that's the proper, I think if the comptroller audits us, I think they're gonna probably notice that.
Mm-hmm.
That's something they probably would pick up on, and, I mean, I don't have a problem with what you're doing, I just,
Yeah,
It's
you just
probably
want a more paper trail.
I think the board's responsibility is financial management of the town, and I think it's probably something that's appropriate we do a resolution for it. So, I have no questions or qualms about what you're doing. None at all, so.
I did want to let you know, I have a new updated closure plan for the Thurman landfill. I just got it yesterday, so I haven't read through it. They had to add a few items based on DEC's comments. They're gonna set up a meeting to go over it, so I'll go through this and see what they wanna do. I mean, we're still gonna close within the 10 years, at the end of 10 years rather, and I'll read through this. If you want a copy emailed to you, you might want a copy, right?
Yeah.
Do you, Ed?
Yeah.
Do you, Doug?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just put to all board members. I have this from Soil and Water to New York State Consolidated Funding Applications to, it's another grant. So through Soil and Water, I'm gonna reach out, I'll get information on that for you for the next meeting.
Was that in our packet? I didn't see that one.
You may not have this, it's just like a agenda from a meeting I went to.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want a copy of it? I can make you one,
Um,
just so you have it.
and, I mean, is this something that, I mean, we're applying for grant with them or something, or?
I just have to go onto this site and find out about this particular grant. This was an agenda from a meeting I was at. And he listed all the
Yeah.
different ones.
I think I've seen that before. I know what it is.
Okay. And then in your packet, we have this Text My Gov. All right, these people called and reached out to me, and they sent me this proposal. It's similar to what SUNY Adirondack did, only they don't give you the phone like SUNY did. They gave out the phones. Our town is small. My personal opinion is I don't think we need this, but I told them I would present it to the board. It does the same type of thing, like gives you an alert for a storm or a road closure. It can tell you anything you wanna text. It's sort of like a group text, you know? It'll tell, like they list things over here like, you know, water leak, water bill, potholes, dogs barking, tall grass, you know, it's just, I don't really, I don't think we really need to have this, but you can look through it and decide if you wanna go ahead. It's a $2,000 a year package and a $1,000 implementation setup fee. Gives you out short code numbers for outgoing messages, tells you how much data. I mean, it's similar to what we get for free from SUNY. And we can already put it on our website and our Facebook, and it'll all go out to everybody anyway.
Right.
So I just told them I would present it. Do you have any thoughts on it? No. Do you think we need to have this? Or no? Because we can all communicate easily without, you know? We're a small town, we don't need that. Then I have the email you sent out, Randy, about the website, all the questions here. So I don't know if anybody wants to submit pictures for our website. I'm working on a lot of this here about the hours, the phone numbers. Board of Assessment Review, they would need the people's names and numbers for that.
I put that on there because I assumed, and maybe it's incorrect, that the public should know who's on the Board of Assessment Review.
Yeah,
And if they wanna talk to them, like if they're preparing to come to grievance day or something.
right.
But maybe that's a question that we should ask Chuck and Susie if, you know, that's appropriate. I mean,
Could be on
they're
there.
serving in a public capacity,
Yeah,
and
they
I would
are.
assume that people
No,
should
yeah.
have access to them, be able to ask them questions.
And know who they are, yeah.
And know who they are.
No, I think that's right. Let's see.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
Sure.
But they gotta be careful how you respond to them and what you talk about.
oh, aren't you one of them?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
In other words, if someone is to talk to you about a certain piece of property, you need to be careful. Because you could be jeopardized, that's not the right word, conflicted in one way or another.
Right,
You're not, basically, you're not supposed to divulge information or,
Yeah,
what am I trying to say?
you're right.
You're not supposed to make commitments outside of the formal grievance
That
day
as
set.
well, that as well. I mean, if somebody wants to talk to you about something, it's okay to a point, but you can't make promises or
Sure.
or whatever. I mean, I can promise that I'd bring it up because I do serve on there. But, you know, when they come and they sit and they actually approach that group, that's fine. But if certain things get said, you know, I had somebody approach me because they didn't like their assessment going up. And I said, well, you bought property and it was not in good shape. Now you've made it better.
yeah,
You can't rely on that lesser tax rate now because you've made the piece of property better.
right.
And when the day comes that they come before the board, I will step aside for that reason and others and let the board, you know.
Well, that's a thought I didn't think of, is, yeah, because does that compromise you to be able to do what you're supposed to be doing, you know
Correct.
what I mean? Yeah,
Like-
because,
You called me this year and talked about a piece of property here, and that was fine, you know, because we didn't discuss to that extent.
mhm,
And it was just basically, you wanna know how to, inform this person as to do what.
right, information versus, you
Correct.
know.
And in all cases, I think it's best to go see Tuck and Sue,
Right,
Sure.
well prior to. Don't
Mhm.
wait until the last minute. I mean, we had somebody one time that came here and hadn't made any attempt to talk to them.
well,
And that, you know, your best bet is those guys.
Well, that should be the first step, yes.
yeah,
Yes.
but you can tell them that when they call you.
Oh, I would, but, like I said, somebody came here a couple of years ago, you know, and go in there. talk
Right.
to them.
right,
You know, you had time. You waited until your tax bill was due. That's waiting way too long.
yeah, it's too late to do anything about it.
Well,
Well, you could for the following year maybe, but.
Yeah, but, you know, the best thing to do is talk to them,
Yeah, yeah.
one way or the other, whether you get ahead or not. I'm sorry.
While you're talking about Board of Assessment Review, the assessors has asked me to bring up, I had it on my calendar for the end of the year, the possibility of an alternate, because they often have somebody that doesn't show up.
Okay, that's a good idea.
And so they thought if there was an alternate, that way if somebody can't come, that they can, so
Still
they want
conduct
me to.
business.
It isn't for a couple months, but that you'll, you know, it's in the
No,
spring, but
We should have one.
I think what we talked about, or what I heard was Kathy Templeton, she was on that once before, and was it Kathy Templeton? Or,
yeah, she was on it.
there's another lady, Sarah Hall?
Sarah's on it.
Okay, she's on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was there this year. Yeah, okay.
But a position like that, something we should just publicize and see who's interested and then pick from whoever
Yeah,
responds.
does it need to be in the paper?
I don't know.
Remember last time, I think, we didn't have to put it in the paper because people, reapplied, the same people, right? Didn't you just continue?
Yeah, once your name is up, I think it's just a matter of asking if that person wants to keep going,
Right,
and then you just.
but now we're looking for a new person, so I don't know.
Well, this is a new person, but it's a backup.
Yeah, as an
Which is
alternate.
a little different.
And isn't there a training they have to go to too?
There is training, yes.
When is that, the training?
I think it's just prior to the Board of Assessment Review, which is the end of May.
Oh, so we have time. We have
Yeah,
time to
well,
get someone
you do
and
and
put
you
them through
don't.
the training.
You do and you don't. Some things you don't wanna, I mean, by all means, talk it over and go forward, but,
Do you know, Keith, or Cynthia, are there provisions in town law for an alternate?
that I can't answer.
I'll
I
write
mean, I
that.
just wanna make sure we're not,
Yeah, we better make sure we're doing it right.
yeah, doing it right.
Well, I know it was talked about and they were gonna do it,
I'll look it up, I'll find out.
but I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
That part wasn't talked about. They just said they wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm,
And you're right to check on it, because you don't wanna do the wrong thing.
right.
Right.
That's okay, that shouldn't be hard to find, you know?
No.
No. And as for item number 7, we need youth commission info. Well, on Friday night, I'm meeting Myra here for the gingerbread house thing we're doing on Saturday, and she's bringing some other people with her, and one of them is possibly interested in starting up the youth commission. So I may have that
We
information.
currently don't have anybody appointed to that position,
No.
correct?
No,
So if somebody's in it, we should probably advertise that position to do it right
mm-hmm,
and see who's interested in it.
okay.
I mean, do you know the legal requirements for advertising positions like that? Do we have to do public notice and all? We
Even
should-
for the youth commission, I'm not sure about that, I mean,
We should probably
Can't
check
hurt.
just to
Yeah,
make
we'll
sure.
just find out so we do it the right way.
Yep.
Yeah. Because if that woman's interested, at least, we put it out there. It's,
Right.
it's the right thing to do, so we'll
Yep.
do that. Okay. We have a new town Facebook page, but there's nothing. Okay, so I guess, he's waiting on pictures too, so I told him I'd go around and take some pictures and send them. And this was my information for that, I don't need that.
We're still waiting for, is Robin coming tonight?
They were, yeah, she was supposed to, but,
Does she know what time?
yeah,
Okay. I mean,
actually, yeah, she sent me, she sent me all the information. Let me just see who signed it. Yeah, Robin signed it. And I told her the meeting was today at 4:30. I have her phone number, want me to give her a call,
Probably should.
you know, just to see?
I mean, you guys can review it and act on it, she doesn't have to
She
be here.
doesn't have to be here,
She's
we
only
have,
here to answer questions.
we
but
have everything we need.
As always, I'm recusing myself from any discussion of it, so.
Well, if you, I know last year when they did Maple Days, they did come back to let me know that, they didn't plan enough funding for the advertising. So, I think last year, they got $8,000 and they're asking for $12,900. 9,000 of that is advertising, 2,000 is printing, 800 is postage, 600 is other, and then 500 is equipment rental, which I'm assuming is a porta-john. I would think, I don't know. She expects to have thousands of people, and behind that is her paperwork from last year. So, yeah, the printing cost her over $640. Hmm?
There was a lot of people in town.
Yeah,
last year.
yeah. So,
There was.
and it does cost a lot for the advertising. I mean, where they plan to advertise, Post-Star, The Sun, E-Blast, Times Union, American Towns, ADK.net, NPR, I mean, they have a lot. Sun Community News, The Go-To Guide, South Saratoga Chamber, Albany Kids, Adirondack Life, hard copy and online, First Wilderness Heritage Corridor, Lake George Mirror. I mean, it costs money to advertise, and it does bring in a lot of people. I don't have any problem with giving them the extra 12, to make it 12,900. If you look at the spreadsheet, we have in our occupancy tax fund right now, 53,322. That's our balance,
Yeah.
because we had so much money left over from COVID time when we didn't have it.
Right, yeah.
So,
I think they figured it.
yeah, they did a really nice job, so,
I don't see why they shouldn't.
okay. But you're right, we don't really need them here to approve it.
No,
All right, so who wants to bring that resolution to the floor?
I will.
Ed, okay, and second, you want a
I'll
second?
second it.
Doug seconds it. Okay. Whereas the Thurman Station Association, AKA Thurman Community Association, is requesting funds for their Maple Days event, and whereas they have organized this event very successfully in the past, and they estimate this event will bring in over 8,000 visitors to the town of Thurman, and whereas this money is needed primarily for advertising and printing expenses, which are essential for a successful event, be it resolved, the town board authorizes the payment of $12,900 to be funded from occupancy tax, code 6989.4.
Wait, you already did that?
No?
Wasn't that the one you did first?
No?
No,
Well, what,
we did them out of order because Robin wasn't here.
well, but wait a minute. Oh, you did the budget adjustment first. Alright, I'm like.
Well, I'm pretty sure it'll be the same result, so.
Yeah.
Except with an abstention.
Oh, yeah, with one
Okay,
abstaining.
I'm going,
All right.
but wait a minute, stop for a second so I can
Okay.
get this right.
Mhm.
Alright, so this was Ed and Randy, okay. Alright. We got it.
Do we have to do a roll call vote for the abstention?
You probably should,
Yeah,
just so that it
we'll
can
need
be
a
on the
roll
record.
Yeah.
Okay, Supervisor Runyon,
Yes?
Councilman Brown,
Yes.
Councilman Needham,
Yes.
Councilman Galusha.
Abstain.
You're abstaining, okay.
Okay. And then if there's just any other discussion you guys have before we go on to approval of the claims?
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of complaints again about Airbnbs in town and the noise and stuff. I really think that we should have a meeting and move forward with some sort of regulations on that.
Agree.
You know, maybe
Okay.
we have to get some legal advice too of what we can do and what we can't do. you know. I've got some ideas, like we should actually know who actually person, you know, the contact person to these places, because a lot of them aren't even from around here,
Yep.
you know, and we have no idea who they are. And I think they should be registered through the town, any of them, because it is technically a business and they don't.
I mean, there are a lot of things we need to discuss. I mean, I agree with you, we need to do something with them. One of the hurdles we're gonna have to overcome is we're gonna have to figure out who actually is gonna be authorized to enforce whatever regulations we adopt.
Exactly.
Are we gonna create a position for somebody like a, you know,
Zoning
not
officer.
planning, but zoning officer, sorry.
Mhm.
Not
We
even
talked
think of that.
about that.
Yeah, something like that,
We
so
had somebody in mind.
we do need to
Yeah.
think about all those things.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, it goes beyond just, short-term rentals and, noise ordinance. When we start talking zoning person, there are other things that I know the assessors have mentioned to me, things that they need, help with, that they get asked to do, which is really not their responsibility.
Exactly.
So, we need to talk about some of that.
Officer would be able to help do that.
And that's not to say that we need to implement zoning, just so anybody watching this doesn't get the wrong impression. It's just certain administrative things that need to be taken care of.
Right.
We need somebody to do it,
Yep.
so,
Yeah, but we really should move forward with that.
I agree.
I
There's a
talk-
lot of concern in town
I know.
about that. I hear a lot of concern.
I agree.
Well, I talked to Sue Baker today about that and about, she brings me newspaper articles of what other towns are doing.
Right.
And one of them was the special use permit.
Yes.
They pay a fee to actually be a short-term rental. That way she's got it on file, or if it was zoning, that person would probably do it.
You would have a
You
contact
would know who they
person,
are,
'cause,
contact
yeah,
phone number, yeah.
And it would be wise to discuss that
Some
with
towns make them
council
give it
so
to the
that we know
neighbors.
we're not doing something wrong on that.
Is there
Yeah.
any other towns around doing anything like this?
Oh, yeah, all
Oh,
of them.
yeah.
They're all in
A
the
lot of
same,
them are.
Okay, we're behind then, we're not.
No, we're
well, they're all
Yeah.
struggling
We're way
through
behind.
it like we are going to.
I mean, and the thing is, we can look at what other towns have done,
Mhm.
but not all regulations fit each town equally.
Exactly.
Right.
Because, I mean, the things that we're gonna be faced with, that we have to wrestle with, are if some local person wants to rent their place out for a few weeks a year, that's one thing.
Right.
Somebody who lives out of the area and is buying a piece of property with the sole purpose of renting it out year round,
Exactly.
that's a whole different thing.
That's what a lot of people are concerned
And
about.
we need to,
Exactly.
we need to know
Yeah.
where to draw the line and
Right.
how, you know, who the regulations apply to and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be, you know.
A lot of our regulations aren't gonna meet something like they would use in Queensborough or
Exactly.
Glens Falls, so we have to
Yeah,
legally
Right.
come up with our own, that's not gonna.
but we will need Mark Schaffner's
Oh,
help
we-
on
we
that, because
should,
some of the
yeah,
things I
exactly.
wanted to do, I found out are discrimination and I
Right, you
can't.
can't, you
Like,
gotta
you
be
can't make
very
a
careful.
noise ordinance just for them. It
No,
would have to apply to
no.
the whole town.
It would,
Right.
but that might not be a bad thing.
And then it's only if someone complains.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
you know, it's not like you can't have any noise after 10. You can't have
Right.
any noise after 10 that bothers someone else.
Or
You know.
early in the morning, but that's like any business, if you go somewhere, they don't usually start till 8:30 or so, anytime you
Yeah.
contract them.
Some have restrictions on how many cars can be parked there, how many people per bedroom.
Well, they
you know.
should, it should fall in Warren County's code for housing.
Yeah, and maybe even Charlie Wallace may need to
He might
be
have
part
to.
of this too,
I mean,
right?
septic regulations and things like, you
Yeah.
can't have, you can't have somebody renting out a place to 20 or 30 people for
But
a
they
septic.
But they
that
do.
is only
That's
sized
the
for
problem.
5 people.
But they
person
do.
home,
Yeah.
That's the problem, they are.
I know.
This is where the complaints are coming in, you know?
So,
So when somebody looks at a septic, like we have it here, maximum occupancy, would that apply, is that based on your septic's usage or square footage, or how do they do that?
The size of the septic, right, the system.
Yeah, but
It's just
the
a
size of
bedroom,
the septic, it can
the house,
be based,
yeah.
it can be based on a number of things. It can be based on actual water consumption. It can be based on, some empirical numbers in a table, like so many bedrooms
Yeah.
equals
So many
so much
bathrooms.
flow,
Mhm.
so many bathrooms.
Mhm.
There's different ways of coming up with a
And-
design flow for a septic system.
And by all means,
Huh.
the people that are involved in these should actually come to our meetings and
Absolutely.
express their concerns, because I
Right.
can understand, some of them are probably gonna be upset about it.
Right.
We need to move forward and do something, you know,
Right, we want regulations that aren't designed to put people out of business, we want
Exactly.
regulations that are workable.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and the noise ordinance, you know, morning, evenings is very acceptable, you know.
I
and it
mean, the
should be.
complaints that I had gotten, and I brought up a noise ordinance a few
Volume
months
of
ago,
people.
was people shooting 100 rounds of ammunition at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
But,
so,
but we
Mhm.
really should move forward.
yes.
Get some legal counsel on
Yeah,
it.
I'd have
and-
to talk to Mark,
yeah.
send him an
Okay.
email.
Even if we have to have a special meeting, you know, to get
Yeah, we
started,
could have a
that's
special
fine.
meeting.
Be just for that, and, you know, you can notify them, and maybe a lot of them would show up. But I don't think a lot of them are from around the area.
They're not, I
No,
don't think so
they're not.
either. I mean, we do have people who
There
live
is
here
a
that
few,
do it.
right, and some of them are really good.
Mhm.
Some of them are,
Yeah.
bad.
Some of them really screen who's
Yeah.
coming, and some of them don't even know who's coming.
That's
you
right.
know? They
And
get
that-
one name
that-
and 12 people come.
That's part of the concern that I'm hearing. People are worried about not knowing who they are and how many are there.
Right.
You know, the noise is, so,
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
It just sort of pertains, I have noticed, I get a lot of phone calls in my office,
Yeah.
people wanting to know about rules.
right.
So I think they're prepared to have rules, because
yeah.
so many of them ask.
Yeah,
I mean, we're talking about out-of-towners that are looking at property to buy,
right.
and they wanna do that, and they do take the time to call the town and say, hey, are there rules?
That's respectful,
Right.
right there, yeah.
Like they should have homeowners insurance. You don't really have to if your home's paid off, but if you're gonna rent out to people, you should have
We should have
homeowners
some kind of
insurance.
insurance.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, there's a lot of little things like that.
Then we'll have to get with Mark
Yeah.
and get some ideas of what's
Yeah.
legal and what we can and what we can't.
Mhm.
Maybe we should schedule a meeting, you know,
Yeah,
prior to the first of the year or after the first of the year before, you know, after the holiday, whatever.
yeah, we should, because we need to have something and
Yeah.
figure out what we wanna do about the
There's
zoning
a lot
rules.
of upset people. It's
Yeah.
just every month gets worse.
And it's really,
I hear a
yeah,
lot of it up there.
it's on the rise though, there's more.
I hear a lot of it.
I think Sue Baker told me we now have 32
Yeah.
short-term rentals
That's a
that they
lot.
know of, and she
Yeah.
does track them, she's got their names and addresses of the owners, she knows who they are.
Yeah.
They go on the internet, they do the same thing Granicus was doing, they surf the net and they have pictures, and she has a whole folder
Yeah.
of
Good.
them,
No,
yeah.
We should notify them if we have a meeting.
Yeah,
We
exactly,
will.
it would be
We
easy
will.
to notify them,
Yeah,
yeah.
send them an email.
Okay. As far as the Newtown website, Matt Turcott is waiting for me to kind of let him know that we're good with it.
Okay,
Do you guys want to look at it tonight, or do you want me to just send you the link and you guys can look at it?
Just send me the
Send it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll do that. And, I think it looks good. The overall thrust is basically to make information available to the public. You know, names of people, contact information, forms will be on there. Obviously, meeting minutes, budgets, all that kind of stuff is gonna be in there. The more information we can put on there, the better, because if somebody can go to the website and get a form, that means they don't have to bother Susie to mail it to them.
exactly,
Either to email it to them or something like that, so that's good.
yeah,
We also now have a town Facebook page. It exists, there's nothing really on it yet. Matt Turcott created it for us.
good,
We do need to talk about having some kind of a policy for both the website and the Facebook page, because obviously whoever's administering it, it needs to address things like you can't use it for personal campaigning. It should be for town business. It should spell out who has rights to manage and maintain the information, and kind of like conduct, you know, so like the Facebook page, you don't want people on there posting inappropriate stuff. I mean,
people can post on it though?
no, we're gonna have it set up so that only town officials,
That's good.
whoever's designated,
Yeah,
can do it. I mean, initially I figured Cynthia and myself would do it. Anybody else that has skills and wants to post stuff, we can do that. We'll just have to come up with a policy to make sure that what gets posted is appropriate.
right,
And it's really just a vehicle to get information to the public.
right.
So if we have a meeting coming up, we can put a meeting announcement out.
Yeah.
If there's some other thing happening in town that we want the town to be aware of, we can put that out.
And that just dings on other people, I don't have it nor use it, so I don't.
So whoever follows the page will get a notification,
Okay,
and we can share this with other groups. There's Thurman happenings and Thurman news and notes. We can let people on those groups know that there's a new town Facebook page,
yeah,
and those people can start following the town Facebook page.
oh.
And that way, as we put information out there, people will see it sooner.
So like the
and
mapping thing, with-
The mapping, yep,
yeah,
all that stuff. Anything that we want the public, as much as we can put out there.
yeah,
I'm an advocate of pushing all the information we can out there. The more
Mhm.
people have, and the more people
yeah,
know, the better informed they are.
Right.
I think it's better for all.
That's true.
okay.
That's
Oh, we got a lot to work on in a short period of
Yeah.
time.
So if it's okay, I'll tell Matt the website is fine. We'll
Yeah.
make it go
I'll
live.
answer these things of what I dealt with.
Okay, I'll give you a few days to do that, and I'll
Okay.
send a link to these guys. And Charlie doesn't do anything.
No, he doesn't have Facebook or
Okay.
even internet, I don't think.
Okay, so I'll send it to you guys, take a look at it, and if you have any comments, look through all the information on there, and if you have any suggestions for anything, let me know, and I'll convey it to Matt. And
Okay.
get it taken
Like
care
this here, when we, application materials, we could have like an employment section for like the zoning,
Oh, yeah.
of. Yep.
or,
Our Airbnb, oh, yeah.
There's right on the front page, there's an announcements, so
I saw
like we
that,
can
yeah.
have an announcement for meetings, we can also have an announcement if we have a new, employment, opportunity, new
Mhm.
vacancy or
Yeah.
something.
Hour changes.
Yeah. And you can put that on Facebook also,
Right,
so
yeah.
that will
That
too.
way the people
So,
will know.
yeah.
Especially that'll be handy at the transfer too.
Yep. The rate schedule for the transfer station,
That
we'll
should
have
all
that on
be
the
there.
website,
Yeah.
we can put that on
what C
Facebook.
and D accepts, that's changed, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yep,
that's definitely
restrictions
changed.
and
Boy,
stuff.
we get hammered on that.
Oh,
yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
Speaking of which, we didn't talk about that.
I'm gonna bring that up.
Oh,
right
okay, yeah,
now. I wanna bring it up for the holiday hours for the transfer station.
Mhm.
For the Christmas Eve is, we're only gonna be open 7 to 11 on Saturday. Closed half a day in the afternoon and closed all day Sunday.
Mhm.
And it's the same for New Year's.
Yep.
7 to 11 Saturday, closed in the afternoon and
Wait,
closed all day
Wait a
Sunday.
minute.
Okay?
Christmas Eve is 7 to 11,
Right,
and then closed
For the afternoon, and close Sunday.
and Sunday.
for,
And New Year's is the same.
and closed Sunday,
Right.
okay?
And the same for New Year's.
Yeah.
And same for New Year's Eve?
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
That's,
Falls the
that
same
whole
way.
same thing.
Right,
Yep,
okay? That way, and I'll post a sign up there too, so
okay.
people will know. So people, that's why I think it's a good thing, that
Alright.
website.
yeah, it'll help a
Well,
lot,
it will.
because,
A lot
and,
of people look at it. So
yeah,
it'll be good. It'll be.
okay, so then we're on, any other discussion about anything?
No, that's it.
The next resolution I have then is to approve payment of claims. I'll bring that to the floor. You want a second?
I will.
Okay.
First, second, word.
What did I do? What did I do? Should be.
It's the last page,
Hmm?
it's the last
The
page.
last page. No wonder I can't find. I've been all night trying to find that thing.
Yeah,
There
well,
it is.
it's fine.
I found it. I should have known that. Who introduced it? You did?
Yeah,
Second by Doug.
okay. Resolution to approve payment of the claims. Total of abstract 12, general fund for December 15th is $14,166.94. And the total of abstract 12 for the highway fund, December 15th, 2022, is $49,829.11. Total claims, oh, it says October, it shouldn't say that. Total claims for December 15th, 2022, $63,996.05.
Was that 63,996 and 5 cents?
Yes.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are these yours? No, you have
No, there you
Oh, this is Charlie's.
go.
It's time for your resolution, Doug.
Are we,
Oh, that was-
Doug, you made the
Motion,
motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Ah,
Randy can second it.
Yeah, seconded it, okay.
Aye.
Then we're adjourning at
All in favor, aye.
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 We didn't do privilege of the floor. Did you have something to say?
I just wanna know when that meeting is, so I can now write it down.
Oh, right.
I thought you said like the 29th or something.
Yeah, it's December 29th. Good for you to do our final payment of the bills meeting.
December 29th?
Yeah, it's a Thursday in 2 weeks. How are you, Ed? Good?
I'm fine. 4:30?
4:30?
4:30's fine. How are you, Randy? Are you good?
That's
Just
fine.
checking? You're good?
special meeting December 29th at 4:30.
Yep.
Just close out the year?
Yeah, it's the end of the year, pay the final bills.
Payment, just payments.
Yeah, it's primarily payments, and then I'll gonna have the information about those other grants and everything that day too.
Mhm.
And I'll reach out to Mark, and I'll come up with something for the short-term rentals.
Yeah.
If you guys wanna come up with any type of things you want in it,
Mhm.
if you can get it to me sooner, I'll shoot it off to Mark and see what he
Yeah.
thinks.
I think when we go, we're gonna have to change it up to local law, don't we? Like
We'll have
noise
to enact a local short-term rental law.
Maybe it's
Gotta
gonna be
have
a-
something, gotta have
It's,
Yeah.
it's gonna,
and to get,
it's gonna take a few months to get the whole thing
get
out.
everything pushed out.
Yeah,
We probably have to have public hearings,
Yeah,
but
we
local
should.
laws.
we
Yeah.
would need a public hearing, yeah, you're right,
We
yeah.
need to, but we need to move forward sooner.
Yeah, because, it's, they're increasing, yeah, the calls are coming in, and,
People are really hammering.
you know, then we have to decide, what about the people who just put an RV on the beach and do it, you know? They have no running water, no bathroom,
I
so,
know.
you know, is that acceptable? I mean, we have to find out what we don't want as well, what's not gonna be permissible.
Exactly. Gotta keep harmony and peace here. Okay.
Good enough, guys.
Sorry about the